Parents in Florence on alert after a middle school student creates what's called a death list.
Oh look, a commentary video. This is new. Anyway, I'm going to be responding to a news report that finds a kid's Death Note manga copy, which if you don't know what Death Note is, it's a manga or an anime series. It's both. Anyway, it's basically a manga or anime, which they find a copy of the manga within this kid's locker or whatever, and apparently the parents freak out, the news freaks out, the police freak out, all over a simple Death Note, a simple copy of the manga. I'm gonna show you just why this is so stupid and why it's blatant fear-mongering.
Parents in Florence on alert after a middle school student creates what's called a death list. Thanks for choosing us. I'm Katie Rammel. Steve has the night off. We want to start by assuring you school officials say this student had no way to carry out his wishes.
Yeah, you're right, he can't carry it out. You know why? Because it's a fake notebook. It's merchandise based off of a manga.
Nonetheless, it's disturbing. ABC 15's Mary Ellen Resendez explains what was found and how school officials were tipped off.
Thank God that it got caught.
A sigh of relief from parents after middle school students at Anthem K-8 in Florence alert teachers to a fellow student's troubling text message.
He was threatening suicide. He didn't get graphic about how he was planning to do it, but he did appear to have a plan.
School administrators didn't find any weapons on the student, but they did find this book.
It's a book called Death Note.
Yep, you said it yourself. It's a book. It's nothing more. It's just a manga, so I don't see the problem.
It's kind of a Japanese-style comic book.
Japanese-style comic book. It's a manga, you idiot.
That is very dark.
The book talks about, quote, suicide as a valid cause of death.
While this may sound bad on the surface without proper context, it's actually not. The point of the show is that the main character, Light Yagami, finds a notebook called a Death Note, which he uses to try and kill off criminals to form some sort of new world order with him as the ruler. Heck, the character Ryuk even states at the beginning that if Light does this, then he'll be the only bad person left. The show blatantly states that Light is evil from the beginning. The statement there in the notebook just states that the user in the show, Light Yagami, is able to use suicide as a cause of death for their victim.
A journal of sorts, also titled Death Note. Inside, a passage saying, the human whose names is written in this note shall die.
Again, this is just a piece of merchandise that comes with the manga. I don't see the problem.
Behind those pages, a list of students' names.
Just because the kid decided to put that in the notebook doesn't mean it's actually harmful. While the kid might have problems with the students, and he might be doing this out of resentment, that's just a normal thing for kids to do at that age. They normally react that they tend to do that because normally at the age of a teenager you have more anxieties. So this type of thing is not abnormal. It's not unnormal. It's actually fairly normal for kids to have resentment and actually want this kind of thing. Yes, it's morbid, but it's actually how most people grow up, and most people grow out of that phase. So it's not a problem. Just let it pass.
It's like a witch's spell. If you write their name in here, some harm will come to them. There was no specific threat. There was no specific, I'm going to harm them.
This officer acts like the note can actually do something, like it's actually harmful. I think the kid knows that it's not actually doing that, and that's why he's doing it. I'm pretty sure if the note actually did that, the kid wouldn't actually do it. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be dumb enough to take it to school if he knew it would actually cause harm to the students.
Officials say over the weekend, the students' parents did see some warning signs, and it actually kept him out of school for a few days. It was a close call, but parents say in this case, students did the right thing.
Did the right thing? What did they do? Contact the teachers because the kid was carrying around a notebook that on the surface sounds bad, but really is just part of a manga series that's relatively harmless and has a positive message? with some dark undertones, yes, but it actually does prove that the main character is a bad character, and it's showing the message that murder is bad.
At least one, the kid was proactive enough in the first place to realize that something needed to be done.
That something needed to be done. That something needed to be done about a kid being normal and acting like a normal teenager. Because biologically, at that age, kids have more anxiety, and it's normal for them to act more impulsive.
Officials say it's unlikely charges will be filed in this case since help is what's needed most.
Help is what's needed most. You think this kid needs help for acting the way that people normally do? That's just rich. I think that's about it that this video has to offer and what I have to say about it. The rest is basically them talking about how we think that the kid was in the wrong for basically acting the normal age. I get that they should be concerned that he's writing students' names in this thing. I get that, because on the surface it seems like a threat, but at that age, you honestly, when you get into arguments like that, you tend to act impulsive, and you tend to act like that you want to actually do that to them mentally. Because mentally, if you haven't had those thoughts, you're lying to yourself. If you say that you have not had those thoughts mentally at that age, you're lying to yourself, and you're lying to others. Because everybody has those thoughts at that age. It's not unnormal, it's not abnormal, but that doesn't make it right. It's perfectly normal to have those thoughts. It's perfectly normal at that age. And yes, kids will grow out of it eventually. It only takes time for them to grow out of it. Yes, in some cases it can get worse and they do need help. But in most cases, the kid will grow out of that phase and they will basically realize that it's wrong. And if they don't already know it's wrong, then that's where it's a problem. But if the kid already knows it's wrong, then there's no real problem. Alright, well, that's all I have to say, so see you guys next time.